Hello and welcome to the Jump Seat. For those of you who are regular watchers and followers of the Jump Seat, you might be saying, wow, this is a usual look, something new. Well, hey, I've got the opportunity of being back in the facility at Akron Brass, and so I'm coming to you live today from our nozzle cell. This is where everything gets done when it comes to making nozzles here at Akron Brass. So for those of you, again, who are just joining us for the very first time, the Jump Seat, it's a regular bi-weekly spotlight bringing you key industry experts, thought leaders, and inside looks at next-gen technology, as well as an inside look at cool facilities like we have here at Akron Brass. So today's going to be a little bit unique in that normally I do some pieces. I'm losing myself here. We do some pieces out and about, kind of what's happening in the fire service week, and not to say, hey, nothing happened, but I've got my guests for the Jump Seat sitting right next to me, and I figured, why waste anybody's time? And we're just going to jump into the Jump Seat today and get a little different look at Akron Brass. But hey, Jason DeFosse, hello, brother, up in Canada, appreciate it, and the Pineapple from Orlando, Florida. I know a Pineapple where he's actually from, but he is vacationing in Orlando. So Pineapple, thanks for joining here today. And yeah, you know, we got a great show today, and why waste any more time? With me today is Andrea Russell. And so, Andrea, I'm not even going to try to describe you and your background and your experience in the fire service. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into the Akron Brass and really what's going on in the nozzle cell behind us here.
Sure. All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody. I'm super stoked to be here, and I just want to mention when David asked me earlier in the week, I was like, of course I'm going to do this. This is a great opportunity. So we have so many cool things going on, like at Akron Brass and in IDEX in general. So, I just really appreciate that. So.
Yeah, no, it's a unique opportunity, and of course we've been stuck at home for like the last year, so now it's a great thing to get out and about and to be in here and sharing a little bit about the inside story of Akron Brass. And so, for those of you who don't know, myself, I'm David Durstein, one of the hosts here of the Jump Seat, and I spent 20 years at Akron Brass myself. So. I represent multiple lines with IDEX Fire and Safety, but I'm glad to be back in what I call like my home facility here and talking about nozzles.
So, you asked me a little bit about my background, right? So I've been with Akron Brass and IDEX for almost 6 years. I came in as a product manager, and really my area of expertise has been loose equipment. So it's been nozzles, portable monitors, lighting, etc. So, I love to talk about this stuff, and I'm super proud of what we make and what we do. And I have a background in really heavy marketing and sales with product management, brand management, strategic road mapping, things like that. But the one thing that I really am excited about, and that has really helped me, is I took Firefighter 1. So a couple years ago, I went through the whole 180 hours of training, the classroom, all the outside exercises, training in the burn building, doing hydraulic ventilation, using our rescue tools. So that really helped me, that really prepared me, and it really made me think a lot, right, about what we do, why we do it, why it's important, and what is critical to really everybody who uses our stuff every day, so every firefighter out there. So great perspective, great opportunity, very challenging, and just glad I did that. So
Andrew, I think you bring a very unique set of skills to our business, to the industry as well. And so, Andrea, I mean, knowing that I know your background, you'd spent some time in the industry before you were at Akron Brass, right?
I did, yeah. I spent 7 years with another manufacturer And so that was my first time, in the fire industry. So I learned a lot, different product lines, but very relevant, obviously. A similar customer base. So very, very good. So when I came to Akron Brass, I didn't come in as a complete newbie, and I wasn't blindsided by, what was there, what we have, and what we needed to do. So
Yeah, I think, one of those things that just impresses me about Andrea is she's not a volunteer firefighter. She's not a paid firefighter. She actually had the interest to go to fire school and did that initiative all on her own outside of work. And really, you're not actively firefighting anywhere today. You did it just to gain the knowledge to provide a better product to the industry and to the fire service as a whole.
Yep, exactly. Made a lot of great relationships too, obviously. Just in the local area, for example, I took my training at the local training academy, made a lot of great relationships, and just, very, very good experience. So.
Yeah, and those who follow us regularly, you may know that I'm a volunteer firefighter. Spent some time as a career firefighter, and you'll find many folks around the facility here who actually have had or are firefighters or some background to actively engage in firefighting at some point in their life. So it's not unique at Akron Brass, and we love to build the best products for all of you out there. So, Andrea, tell us a little bit about the nozzles here at Akron Brass. What do we do? What do we make? And what makes us different and special?
Yay. So we make a variety of different nozzles. I've got a couple here, so I'm just going to kind of hit a couple highlights for you. And then we're actually going to walk over at some point to the test tank, and we'll talk a little bit about that too, right? What we test, why we do it, etc. So right here, I've got myself a turbojet. So turbojet's the selectable gallonage nozzle in our line, our hand line nozzle. So you could have a variety of flows up to 250 gallons a minute. Between, you can grab 100 PSI, 75 PSI nozzle, great stream quality, very well known for that, and honestly, great performance, right? Everything that we're building that we send you, it takes a lot of care. It's not just the components. It's not just putting the components together. So you'll see some of our employees, our fellow teammates walking around here. They've been here for a long time. So it's the dedication, it's the love that they put into building our products, because we know how important it is, right? It's got to be right, and it's got to work. So we do our best to make sure that happens. So anyway, turbojet comes in a variety of different sizes. You can put it on use a 2.5 inch inlet, 1.5 inch inlet. So great flexibility here, and great for the crew that wants to choose their flow, right? You're direct attack. You need to change your flow because you're done. You're going to maybe move into overhaul. Great nozzle to be able to do that with. So lots of flexibility here.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big advantages of that one is it gives you control as the nozzle operator.
Right.
If I can see that fire pushing over me and I want more flow, I can easily dial the flow up. I can dial it down. If we're a crew inside and Andrea's backing me up, maybe we're coming around the stairwell a couple turns and we need more hose. So she goes back to drag hose. I can dial it down to a more manageable control level for myself, or maybe till I can brace myself to actually handle higher reaction forces. And it allows the nozzle operator to make those controls versus the pump operator.
Right. Exactly.
So, what else we got there, Andrea?
All right. So next up, we've got our assault nozzle, which obviously is a great nozzle. These are fixed orifice, so you spec the pressure, you spec the flow. What's super nice about this nozzle is you can have 50 PSI at the inlet of the nozzle. So if you want to go with lower pressure on all your lines, it's a great way to basically allow yourself to have fog capability at 50 psi if you want, and then add a shut off with the smooth bore on top of it too. So you got a lot of flexibility. Being able to have this at 50, 75, 100 psi, all the way up to 350 gallons a minute. So lots of, like I said, lots of flexibility, easy to train on, very easy to use. One setting, obviously, at the pump, and you're ready to kind of rock and roll. So,
One of the things I love about this salt is it meets that KISS theory. The keep it simple, Sam.
right.
And, as an operator, I don't have to think. I've got my open and close, and that had water in it.
See, these are it's real live here.
See?
There's water in the nozzle.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to explain when I walk around the plant after this show today.
Oh, well, we'll give them a pass. We'll give them a pass today.
Anyway, long story short, great nozzle, keep it simple, fog stream, and something else to dump water on you yourself when you're sitting here doing a show live today.
Oh, well, you know what? We can't forget these last couple of years. We've got the smooth bore, right? So we've got the shut off. You can make this a break apart with the smooth bore tip. You can put on a fog tip. So all there for you, mix and match on your combinations. You can have the selectable gallonage tip, the turbojet tip, or you could have the assault tip. So lots of flexibility. And then last but not least, we've got I'm going to show our Saber shut off today. So this has an integrated smooth bore. So it's there. You don't need to take it off. You can also screw on a fog tip here. But obviously, core to the line, very important, and very important to give you guys the flexibility, right? To make your choice as to what's important for your department, your training, your situations that you're in every single day. That the complement of products we have is designed to fit that. We've got some other nozzles too, but we don't have a ton of time, so I'm not going to focus on those today, but just want to kind of give you some of the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we jump maybe into the process behind us, there's been a whole bunch of comments coming in here.
Yeah.
And I just want to share a couple of them because I think maybe you know this guy, Chief Swagger, kind of commented. Hey, I think you had a really great instructor at your fire school too. So I'm thinking he was probably one of your instructors when you went through.
Oh yeah. He was a very, very good crew. So can't beat it.
Oh, that's awesome there as well. And the other one too, I saw it in here somewhere. Joanne Clayton saying, "Hey, looking great, Andrea."
Oh, hey, hi. Shout out to Joe.
So, hey, we're glad you guys are all joining us today here as an inside look at Akron Brass and what goes into making some of the world's best nozzles. We're here with Andrea Russell, and Andrea, maybe walk us through the whole kind of process. Because I imagine a lot of firefighters, just as I've talked to over the years, they're like, it's a nozzle, it's pretty easy to make, right? They're pretty complex tools, and we take a lot of pride here at Akron Brass in making sure that nozzle's going to put up with the use they've used, and when you think it's done, it's still going to be able to fight that fire when you need it.
Right.
So maybe talk about a little bit about the design process and how it goes into getting to even making it here to the production line. And while she's doing that, I'll give some images from other cameras around the cell here. And you got to take a look at some other stuff in process.
Yay. All right. Well, hey, so everything we have at Akron Brass is highly engineered. I mean, there's no way around that. We would never want a way around that. It's very, very critical. So when you look at even the components that we have that are designed, I mean, there's exacting machining tolerances that we have to follow, to make sure that it does what it does. So when we go into a design on a new product, not only do we go out and talk to customers, so our customers, the fire departments, we collect a lot of voice of customer to really try to understand and make sure that what we make is what you can use, and it solves your problems, and it's a good solution for you. So that's like really at the beginning of the process, right? Is understanding what the need is, what the problems are, what we can do to help, right? So then obviously we kind of turn ourselves internally and we say, hey, we need to go through the process here. So we dedicate a full team of engineers, operations, purchasing, sourcing, you name it, commercial team, sales team, to really work through the process, right? To make sure that the product design is what it needs to do, and obviously it works the way it's supposed to. We go through lots of prototyping and lots of testing. So, NFPA, for example, requires specific tests on products, but we go well above that. We go well above that because we have internal product testing standards that we want to meet. And we also do a lot of extra testing. So in-field testing. So we'll have a product out in the field and it's not launched yet, but we'll have fire departments testing it, trying it. We'll be talking with them about it to really understand, is this right? So that's also part of our protocol. And then obviously, we get to production, we're out in the market with it. Whoa, we need to keep that up, right? So we need to make sure that what we're producing, what comes out of Akron Brass every single day, is what it's supposed to be. So that involves obviously lots of training here. So, the people that, the woman you see behind me here in the nozzle cell, cross-trained, right? They can put together all nozzles that come through here. That's like super important. And like I said, they do it with love, they do it with care. They've been here for a long time. And then not only do we have that, right? Getting it here and then testing. I'm going to walk over to the test tank here shortly, but every single nozzle that leaves Akron Brass is flow tested. It's tested to make sure that the pressure is right. It's what the customer specified, and the flow. So I'm actually going to make a little bit of a beeline over to the test tank and just talk with you a little bit about that. All right?
While Andrea's transitioning there, I'm just going to throw another comment that popped in here from Mark Braun. And Mark, thanks for joining us today. For those of you who don't know, it sounds like my audio cut out, but hope you can hear me. But Mark Braun actually has been 3 generations of his family to build product here at Akron Brass. So Mark, shout out to you and to your whole family. This goes back to that pride in building the product that we build here at Akron Brass each and every day. So as Andrea had mentioned, she is actually standing at our nozzle cell, and so I'm going to at the test tank. I'm going to bring it in her over at the camera now there, and you get to see firsthand one of our nozzles actually being tested here. So with that, Andrea, I'm going to throw this over to you and let you take it away there.
Great. So what you're probably not seeing is we have a conveyor. So the nozzle's made, it's built, put together, it's put on the conveyor belt, and then it goes over to testing. So here we are, we've got Chad here, and he's just going to he's testing a turbojet for us. So he's testing to make sure that the pressure at the inlet of the nozzle is what's specified by the customer, and the flow. So very important. And with for example, a turbojet or a flexible gallonage nozzle, he checks every flow on there. It's not just checking the low flow or the high flow or the mid flow. It's all the flows available on the nozzle on what we call the gallonage control ring. He also checks for stream quality here. So he'll check the straight stream, make sure it's nice and tight. As I mentioned before, this nozzle, for example, has a great straight stream. So he's going to look for that. He's going to look at it in narrow fog, and then he's also going to look at it in wide fog. And if he sees something that doesn't look right, he's going to stop right there, right? He's going to recalibrate the nozzle if it's not flowing what it should be flowing at the pressure that's designated. And then he'll also say, hey, if that stream quality doesn't look right, we need to take a look at this. So I just want you to know, feel confident that, that what we're sending you has been tested before it leaves Akron Brass. So, and we've done this for a long time. This isn't something new, but honestly, as a prior product manager, and like today, I'm a brand ambassador, right? It makes me feel really good about what we do here. So.
Yeah, Andrea, I think you bring up a couple really, really good points there. And I'd like to just re-emphasize the fact that every single product is tested. You get to see the nozzle here today that Chad's testing for you guys, but every single product is tested before it leaves here, whether it's a electric monitor and a nozzle with that as well, to any of the other products. Not only is it tested with water or with pressure, it's actually the electrical systems are tested before they're ever boxed, before they ever ship out to an OEM, to you as an end user, as a fire department. And so there's a lot of pride here in making the best product possible that you can guarantee when you need it, it's going to work each and every time. And I think, Andrea talked about like the belt. And so we're actually sitting on the belt. My computer is feeding live today from the belt. This is a shot down the belt. You can see us down here on the other end, waving back at you there. And, so the belt is actually sitting there with nozzles waiting to come down and be tested. And unfortunately, we're kind of holding that up today. You can see the other nozzles being built on the bench behind you. It is second shift here. So here at Akron Brass, we do run 3 shifts. And so it's a little lighter in the cell right now. It did that, one, to help us out, to make sure you could hopefully hear us well, but also so we can get out of here as quick as we can. Andrea, we got to see a little bit of our products. You give us an intro to some of those products that are out there, but you and I know that our products are used all around the world. But maybe share with us some of those great fire departments that really help reinforce their capabilities with our nozzles and our products every single day.
Sure. So, some of obviously every fire department we work with is a great one. And even those we don't work with are great fire departments. So, but FDNY, for example, has used our nozzles for many years. So obviously we're super proud of that. And most of you or some of you may have heard the story, but we were really able to help them during 9/11. So that's something that anybody who comes to the facility here to take a tour gets to learn about and understand. So, just a great history, for Akron Brass, and we're really proud of that. Also, Washington, D.C., for example, another
the nation's capital, not only one of the biggest cities in the United States, we got the nation's capital. Who else we got?
Got it. So we have like Contra Costa County in California.
Now we're going to the West Coast, right out there in the Bay Area.
Right.
Yeah.
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
Right. So Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yep.
Yep. And I don't want to forget any, fire departments of other size too. So just thank you. And hey, we are a global manufacturer. So we also have business, for example, in Tianjin, China. So the fire brigades there use Akron Brass nozzles. Same thing with Chengdu. Also many airports in Italy and air bases in France, all over the world, industrial customers, traditional municipalities, just Canada, everywhere. So if I could name you all, I would do it. We thank you. And, I just want to say too, because I don't know that we say it enough, right? But I just want to thank you, not only, thank you for your business and thank you for your faith in us. That's really important. And, we care about that. Safety is our mission. It's what we do. It's what we rally around. And, I just want to say thank you. Just can never thank you enough. And thank you for the work that you do every day, saving lives and making sure, people are safe. So,
Andrea, you said it great there. And, Jason, I did catch your comment there. Yaka, Canada, right? Did I see that in there? Yeah. And so, Don't worry, we got Toronto Fire in Canada
Yep.
just to help you guys. There's many others, Calgary and Edmonton I work with on a regular basis, Vancouver. But as Andrea said, we can't name all the fire departments that we work with around the world, but we are proud to be manufacturing right here in Worcester, Ohio.
Yep.
And, you know, one of the big things, I actually had a little PowerPoint to show it because our facility is rather large. And so for us to actually do a show in here and try to keep it still relatively simple makes it a little bit of a challenge. And so I couldn't take it to the machine shop today, but I hope to do that at a shot in the future. I was going to give you some screenshots, but my computer was giving me hassle being remote out here on the shop floor. But stay tuned for more inside looks at Akron Brass at coming episodes. Andrea, I want to say thanks for joining us today. Thanks for those followers and watching on Facebook. And, you know, hopefully you got a chance to see how we're building nozzles on the bench right behind us here.
Yep.
Got a whole line of hot ProVenger nozzles that are going to be hitting the test belt, getting tested and shipped out of the facility here this afternoon. I think one other key thing that I probably ought to tell them with is, you know, we don't sit here on a lot of finished good inventory. And so that's a misconception a lot of people would have, is that there's nozzles just sitting all over and ship out the door. We actually build them to order. Everybody has a little different need because, you know, they want a 161 at 50. I don't know if you guys can see that on there. Or, you know, the next department wants it at 150 at 75. Or they want it with, you know, the colored pistol grips and handles, or an integrated tip with an assault tip to go, or a turbojet, you know, tip like's currently on the line here to be built without it. So, you know, the cool thing is that when you get your nozzle and an order comes into us, it's actually built to order. So it's not just sit here, but we custom build them and have them ready to go out to you many days within the same day of getting the order, within a week or two at the most. So anyway, Andrea, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
To all the followers in our social worlds, thank you so much for joining us here. Join me again here in 2 weeks, June 25th. Mark your calendars now, 3 o'clock. The same channels that you always follow us on. And we look forward to seeing you guys. Be safe in the meantime. And thank you for following us here on the Jump Seat.